guys, LunarSpotlight27 here, bringing you Bleach, chapter 537. Everything but the rain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Prinz von Licht, which apparently means Prince of Light in German. Don't worry guys, this is the last Everything But the Rain series, I swear. So the chapter here begins with a little flashback of Masaki's death. Seeing her covered in blood, it was raining, lying on top of a young little Ichigo. Yep. But seriously, the chapter really begins with Ishin telling Ichigo what really happened on the day the mother died, June 17th, 9 years ago. Masaki had the Quincy ability Bleach, which Ichigo already knows about it, and of course he has it. But we actually learn more about this ability. Apparently Bleach is only something that the pure Quincy's can use, but even those that aren't pure, they can still use it if they train themselves, which probably would explain like why Uryuu probably didn't have it. He wasn't a pure Quincy, that or he wasn't trained to use it. Which is too bad because that blue vein would have definitely came in handy when he fought against Mayuri, Xylophro, that one time with Yami. Well, technically he didn't really need that when he fought against Yami and Ulquiorra. It would probably increase his odds a little bit more if he did learn that move. Now, since Masaki was actually a pure Quincy, she could use Blit Vein, and even if she was infected by the Hollow, she still had her pure Quincy abilities. And the only time she ever had an injury was that one time when she fought against Whitey. Now, it's not really much of a flashback chapter. We just cut to scenes every now and then of what happened on that day. And apparently Ishin knew about Masaki and her encounter with Grand Fish because he was still able to sense both Masaki's and Grand Fisher's Ryatsu, which I don't understand because he's in that special gi guy. Urahara did say that once Ishin gets into that special gi guy, he wouldn't be able to use his Shinigami powers and he wouldn't be able to see hollows or any other spirits. And yet he is still able to sense Ryatsu. He was able to sense Masaki and what situation she was in, but he knew that Masaki would be able to handle herself because she still has her Quincy abilities, even if she was affected by the Hollow, so she would have been able to take down Grand Fisher no problem. So then we get like this one small page of the flashback of Masaki facing against Grand Fisher, and all of a sudden a panel of blood splatter, and yeah, you can pretty much tell like what happened. She gets killed. But the question is, how did she get killed if she is capable of killing Grand Fisher? Ishin asked Ichigo if Uryuu knew anything about his family, but Ichigo says no because he never really talked much about it. Oh, and guess who Uryuu's mother is? Katagiri! Oh my god! I did not see that coming at all! No, am I kidding? We all knew it. So, yeah, it's been confirmed. Katagiri is Uryuu's mother, which means that Uryuu is half blood, half pure blood. He's a mixed blood Quincy. This is really turning into Harry Potter. But the thing is, with Katagiri, she actually collapsed on the same day Masaki died, 9 years ago. And then 3 months later, when she collapsed, she died. Coincidence? So, apparently what happened 9 years ago was the Ashiren, which means the Holy Selection. And yes, Juha Bach was definitely responsible for Masaki's death, and also Katagiri's death. Apparently the Ashiren, which is the Holy Selection, it happened 9 years ago on that same day. And it was also carried out by Juha Bach. Among the Quincy's, there are actually stories about a Quincy king, and apparently Juha Bach happens to be this Quincy king. Yeah, Juha Bach is a Quincy king. We have a Soul King in Soul Society, and we have a Quincy king for the Quincy's. So are we gonna see Juha Bach fight against the Soul King? I'm just asking. Well, anyway, back with the stories that the Quincy's told about the king. Apparently it took Juha Bach 900 years to regain his heartbeat, 90 years to regain his reason, and 9 more years to regain his power. So within the 9 years, I guess right when Masaki and Katsugiri supposedly died, that was actually the beginning of when Juha Bach started to regain his power. Now, the only way that he could do that was with the Holy Selection, where Juha Bach would pick Quincy's which he would deem impure. Katsugiri because she was a half-blood Quincy, and Masaki because even though she's a pure Quincy, she still had the hollow infected inside her. So because of the hollow infection, Masaki was chosen to be impure, and because of those that were impure, their Quincy powers were taken away so that Juha Bach can achieve them. Now, during this section, we get to see Ryuken looking up the window. It was raining, and we get to see this small picture of Katsugiri on his desk. And the reason, she died all of a sudden because she lost her Quincy powers because right after she gave birth to Uryuu, she was already weak and frail after that birth. And I guess, her Quincy powers, I guess, sustained her life for a while until they were taken away by Juha Bach, and she died, I guess. At least that's what I think happened. Because Juha Bach took away Masaki's Quincy powers, she wasn't able to defend herself and kill Grand Fisher. So technically, even though Grand Fisher did kill Masaki, Juha Bach was technically the one responsible. But what I don't understand is, how does it work? How do you steal Quincy's powers and obtain them as your own? How did Juha Bach do that? That's not really explained in this chapter. Yep, he's an asshole, that Juha Bach. Then Ishin actually explained more about Juha Bach. Apparently, he's a predecessor of all the Quincy's. Basically, you could say he's the Rikudo Sennin equivalent to the Quincy race. And the Quincy's started off with him, and also all the Quincy's have Juha Bach's blood, which explained why a couple chapters earlier, why Juha Bach called Ichigo his son born in the darkness. Because Ichigo has the same blood as Juha Bach, which would mean that Ichigo would be related to every existing Quincy, and not only that, that would make Juha Bach his ancestor, his great 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 grandfather. I think I gotta give kudos to Tite Kubo for the artwork here. I mean, granted, in one of the pages, you get one panel of all the flashbacks between Ichigo and Juha Bach, and then you have a panel of a part of his face, and it keeps going in that same pattern in that page until you finally get to see Ichigo's face. And I gotta admit, the artwork on his face looks really good, so kudos to that, Tite Kubo. Anyway, he thanks Ishin and has this cool, badass, determined face. Again, I really like the artwork. So yeah, flashbacks are done, exposition all done. So Ishin and Ichigo head outside. It stops raining, by the way, and we get to see Ikumi, who went to the Kurosaki clinic to return his Shinigami badge. And I just have to point out something. If I remember this correctly, I think Ukitake told Ichigo about the badge, that only he and other people that can see hollows and Shinigami can see the badge. But Tatsuki was able to see the badge because, she was able to see hollows as well. I mean, she was slowly starting to. And since Ikumi was able to see his badge, which would mean that she could probably also see hollows and Shinigami, I think, I don't know, I don't remember a lot about that theory. So, anyway, he gets his badge back, he thanks Ikumi, and then he tells Ishin that he's gonna head out. Where? I'm not sure. Probably to Urahara's to get back to Soul Society. That, or probably find somebody to train him in Quincy abilities. It's gonna be weird seeing Ichigo using a bow and arrow. But anyway, we cut back to the Vandenreich Palace. We see Haschwald heading towards Juha Bach, who is sitting on his throne, acting like a smug, arrogant little king he is. He's an asshole, but he's kind of cool, I will admit. Hey, he did something that Aizen couldn't even do, invade Soul Society. No, he didn't have to waste his time chasing around high school kids while he could have used that time to create the Oken and, fuck it. Yeah, that still pissed me off, but hey, it's done. It's done. Anyway, so Haschwald was actually went out on a mission to retrieve somebody for Juha Bach, and it turns out it's none other than Uryuu! Okay, wait, stop. This doesn't really shock me that much because, you know, this rumor was starting to go on for a while, ever since when Uryuu told Ichigo and the others that he couldn't go to Mundo. So, yeah, I think he probably knew that Juha Bach was coming back. And, oh, by the way, that's basically where the chapter ends. He's dressed in his new Stern Reacher outfit, which, honestly, it kind of looks kind of cool on him. And Juha Bach says, "Come join us, my son." And that's basically where the chapter ends. So... yeah, that is Bleach chapter 537. What did I think? I thought this chapter was pretty good. Although I was expecting a bit more of the flashback. I'm not really sure why, because I still have no idea how the hell Juha Bach was able to steal all the Impure Quincy's abilities. How does that work? I had no idea. And the last minute plot twist in the final page, Uryuu joining the Stern Reachers, the Vandenreich, whatever you want to call them. Not really that surprising, because in a couple chapters ago, he refused. He didn't want to go to Mundo, so he obviously knew about Juha Bach and the Vandenreich. And I think he would have known that Juha Bach was responsible in a way for his mother's death. So I don't really think that Uryuu would betray Ichigo and his friends just to join his Quincy race. Maybe he's, you know, just joining them so he could get a chance to, you know, to infiltrate the Vandenreich, learn about them, and probably learn more about the, you know, awaken Luster Steel and the Blood Vein so that he could try to kill Juha Bach. Although, it would be pretty cool to see him fight against Ichigo. I mean, we haven't had a rematch between the two ever since they first fought against each other and the Menos appeared. But would be awesome is that if he did betray Juha Bach, him and Ichigo would team up and fight against him. And we haven't even seen him in a really long time. If he really did betray his friends, then holy shit, that would be pretty awesome. And kind of a douchey move on Uryuu's part, honestly. But I don't think he betrayed them, especially not to the guy who was technically responsible for the death of his mother. But overall, this chapter was pretty good. Flashback wasn't much of a flashback. Not a lot. Was expecting a bit more, I don't know, but I did like the explanation of how Masaki did get killed. Even though Grand Fisher did kill her, Juha Bach was technically responsible for it. Also makes you think how things would have been different if Masaki was alive to this day. But I kind of did like the fact that Uryuu did join the Vandenreich, because I just want to see like what he can do. Because this is a final arc about Quincy's, and I was actually wondering what part Uryuu was gonna play into this. So if we're gonna see Uryuu fight against a couple of Shinigami, that would be great, because we haven't actually seen him fight ever since this time skip started. Even with the Fullbringer arc, we only see him shoot a couple of arrows, and that was basically it, which was disappointing. So if he did join the Vandenreich, and if he gets more more panel time and get his own fights, that would be great. So overall, yeah, great chapter. So that's Bleach chapter 537, known as 527, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.